Do you think it takes like a particular type of person to be able to write like good, genuine poetry, or can anybody really do it, you think?
Well, I think you need to be literate. I think if you know language, then you can write poetry. And if you have not learned language, then you should stick to perhaps painting.
Why do you prefer poetry over like prose or like writing short stories or novels?
If you write a novel that's like this, is that conducive to helping people to get outside and experience life in its totality? No. This, closer. This, closer. Yes. So that's why I write poetry. I want something that's small enough to float around in your head while you're shopping for groceries, so that it actually enhances your experience of shopping for groceries. I don't want it to be the reason that you forgot to get groceries that week. That's what I wrote.
Like, what's it like having like all of the comments of like high school kids on your thing? Like, we're obviously all people and like all,
yeah, you're all people.
You know, it's great, but like,
I agree.
have you like seen comments where you're like, what the hell is that?
No, never. I have these 3 house rules. The first one is try before judging, right? So the idea behind try before judging is, before you say, what the hell is that, as a judgment, say, what the hell is that? As a question, as a legitimate, sincere question. And then you figure out what they're saying. And then it doesn't not make sense anymore. It makes perfect sense. So no, I get it. Everybody has questions, and they come out of humongous, complex lives, right? That's when you see a comment, it is the end point of like, they were born, they had all these experiences, they had some very recent experiences that are influencing them very strongly right now, and boom, they made a comment. So for me to assume like, this guy just doesn't, he's insane. Like that's a very condescending thing for me to do, right? So I try and I do my best to figure out, is this the influence I want to have on the world? Having a blog is a way to get reflections off of people. I try not to be abusive about it. I try to be educational.
So you're really open-minded with like people having different interpretations?
Oh yeah, yeah. If they don't see the concept that I was trying to communicate, then I have to entertain the potential that it's because I didn't communicate it well, right? That always has to be a potential.
You spoke on how like one of the purposes that you write poetry is, you know, to give other people this kind of microcosm of life that they can take with them out to the day. What has writing poetry done for you personally in your own life?
Writing poetry reminds me of the things that I figured out once and started to let go. If I write an idea burst in a catchy way, if I create a really cool image around it that encapsulates it, like what, your grandma's a bird or whatever, that was a great idea, by the way. It helps you to hang on to that insight and to revisit it when you're in troubled time. Because we all get happy, we all get sad. Sometimes when we get sad, you start forgetting about all the cool things that you realize when you're happy. And if you've got a catchy poem, it can help bring you back there. So yes, it's definitely helped me in my own life.
Do you ever like look back at your old poems and think like that what you wrote like doesn't relate to you anymore, or like you don't feel that way anymore?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I remember going through that experience and it's not really relevant now, but it's always you. Just like a woman and me are all like, we're always equally human. So I think that there's always something you can learn from an earlier version of yourself. That's why it's nice to chronicle things. Even, you know, a journal doesn't have to be a poem. Like anything where you write and you can go back and say, oh yeah, I really thought that after she dumped me, my life was over. And when you say, oh yeah, but my life was over so many times, it's going to be all right.
So you'd rather carry your past with you rather than solely living in the present?
Yes, but definitely qualified. Neuroscience talks about you have your present moment, yourself in the moment, and you have your biographical self, which is your sense that there are things I did before that have led to what I'm doing now, and from here I am planning things I will do in the future, right? So to be simply present just isn't something that human beings are designed to do. We're designed to think in terms of lifespans. At some age, somebody goes behind a door and you know they're coming back. You know that they still exist. They didn't disappear when you can't see them anymore. That's just the way we work. So yeah, you carry it with you, but you don't dwell on it. You think, you know, what can I use from that to propel me forward? Everything is fuel.